mastering this inner game. So the title of this talk was Tricks. You can know all the tricks in the world. It's not going to do you any good. My coach used to give me a lot of pickup lines and introductory lines and stuff, and they would always fall flat, and I would embarrass myself immensely because none of the tricks work if you don't have this inner game of nobody can reject me. I'm in charge here. I decide whether I'm attractive or not. You don't. I decide if I want to be with you. If you don't want to be with me, you have complete freedom not to. I'm going to keep going until I find someone. This is my inner game and my inner strength. Wildly attractive to other people. And if it's not attractive to them, who cares? When people talk about confidence, that's what they're talking about. Confidence, is sold to us as some sort of affirmations that you put on your mirror, and that may or may not be helpful, but it doesn't stick, right? The affirmations that you do that way don't become part of your inner self. But if you work on this inner game, all the things I'm teaching you, which is I decide my attractiveness, you don't. I decide if I want to go out with you or not. If you don't, I'm fine with it. I never get rejected. I just ask, and if you don't, that's fine with me. I go after what I want, which is I'm going to find someone. I'm going to work with my own inner frustration, or the fact that I attract men who seem to have very poor social skills and just want to get in bed and connect before it's time to connect. Connect sexually before we've established a friendship. And all these kinds of things are okay with me. I understand that everyone's looking for love. I'm dropping a lot of my judgment about who's a good candidate, who's a valuable human being. I'm not going to be more prejudiced in my dating life than I am in the rest of my life. So it's this inner game. I needed a lot of help to develop a strong inner game. And when you have strong inner game, you don't need any tricks. Then you're just a human being meeting other human beings, being as loving as you can in the attempt to attract love back. And not only then do you find love, you have a better world. Because people are meeting each other in love and lovingness instead of judgmental. I don't like you. We're just meeting each other in love, and we are creating a world of love in which we can find love because we're radiating the frequency of love. Love cannot resist you. If you are radiating love, love cannot resist you. I had to look at myself and see I'm only radiating half love. It's very judgmental. So I worked on my inner game. I worked on my ability to be more loving, and love showed up so much better than I'd ever imagined for myself. And I've seen it happen for other people that I've coached. Stop giving your power away. This is something I really learned from the pickup artists. So you stop giving your power away to someone else to decide if you're attractive or not. Who decided if you're attractive? You are too old, or too this, or too that, or not the right body. Who decided that? You stop giving the power away to the other person. You stop giving your power away. So often we'll go on dates. One guy I met in the ashram, he said, most single people have a sale on them, have a sign on them that says, for sale, cheap. And I thought it was so great because at the time I think I had that sign. And it's like, we sit on this date and we're looking at the other person and we're going, I hope you're finding me attractive. And if they're conventionally good looking, we're going, I hope I'm cool enough for you. And what we need to do is turn that back and go, I'm in the power position. I decide if you're attractive enough for me. I decide if I find you attractive. I decide if this date is going well. I decide if I want to see you again. This position puts us not in a begging position, and it makes you wildly more attractive to other people. So we take back that power and we decide, I'm in the driver's seat, I'm in the power position. I decide I don't, for example, an easy one is a lot of women will think, oh, this guy probably thinks I'm too old for him. You turn that around and you go, I wonder if he's too young for me. Okay? For men, a lot in the pickup community, I go to these pickup conventions and there'd be like these 4-day conventions, there'd be like 50 guys and me. And the guys would be like, oh, these 10s, I'm so afraid of these good-looking women. And it's like, is she enough for me? It's the big inner game switch. Not like these other people on the outside hold the power of whether or not I'm attractive enough for them, whether or not how this should go, will they choose me? It's like I'm in the chooser seat. I'm in the power position. We teach a lot about this in our dating class, about how to move more into that position of I'm in charge of my dating life. It's not something magical that's going to happen. I'm going to drive it. I'm going to decide who I want to go out with. I'm going to decide what kind of behavior I want coming back to me. I'm not a victim of this dating process. I am going to learn how to make it go well. If someone wants to ghost me, then goodbye. I'm not a victim of that type of behavior. So we take our power back. Talk about high performance techniques for dating. This alone could switch your dating life and how people respond to you hugely. Everyone is very attracted to someone who's in the power position of their own life. In dating, it's irresistible. It's the main principle of seduction, is that I'm deciding. I'm not begging. I'm not hoping you find me attractive, because I already am in charge of my own attractiveness. I'm not buying into cultural ideas about whether I'm attractive or not. I'm not buying into cultural ideals about my age, my shape, how tall I am, how much money I have. For guys, that's the main thing. I'm not buying into it. I'm in charge. I take that power back away from the culture and embody it in myself. This isn't something that happens just for most of us like turning a screw. It's something that we have to continue to work on to fully embody. I had to, for example, start a Pinterest board of really hot women over the age of 50, because I was like, I don't really see that in the culture enough. I need to have that in my own consciousness. So I'm going to look at that Pinterest board and I'm going to follow these women on Instagram, and I'm going to immerse myself in alternative images from the culture. And if I was a short man, I'd do the same thing. And if I was whatever, I would do the same thing. Whatever I'm trying to get over in myself, I'm going to get away from that cultural ideal of standard of attractiveness, and I'm going to form my own. And that puts you in the power seat of your dating life. It's not, or if I was of a different body size, I would do the same thing. Because then when I'm going out, I'm not dependent, I'm not handing the power over to someone else to see if they find me attractive or not. I'm looking for someone who agrees with me that I'm attractive. It's totally different from that begging thing. Especially women are taught to be in that kind of beggar role of, all guys must find me attractive or I'm worthless. Well, one thing I tell women is we're not looking for all guys, we're looking for one. And it's not necessary to be attractive to everyone, but it is necessary that you want to find someone who finds your particular brand of attractiveness catnip, the hottest thing they've ever found. And you're in charge of embodying that for yourself and for the other person. So we take that power back from the culture, we take that power back from who's ever arbitrarily deciding that, and we create in ourselves, this is my powerful self that I'm bringing into the dating world, not this for sale cheap sort of attitude. Yeah, the frustration is what I'm picking up, and I would suggest that you could strengthen that a little bit, so that it's like, this is a fact, and I keep going, and I'm banishing these people who are not welcome in my queendom, and I'm continuing on, because there are men out there. Most men I've met are looking for a relationship. I was hanging out with pickup artists who supposedly are picking up women just to have casual sex with. Every single one I met was looking for love. Okay? So some men are very unskilled in how they look for it. Okay? So some of those men who seem kind of creepy and that, they're just very unskilled. That doesn't mean we need to go out with them, but it's possible to reframe that in a way that it doesn't feel so frustrating. Okay? Because the frustration is something we personally have to work through to stay on the path to find love. I know so many times I was frustrated, I was hopeless, I was going to give up, I would fall into this sort of idea, it's because I'm too old, it's because I don't look like this, it's because I fall into all this kind of stuff. That frustration, I don't want to keep going, all the men are like this and that. We have to work on ourselves to be like, I'm not falling prey to those emotions, I'm moving forward until I find love. Same way we do in our career. Right? You get kind of hopeless in your career, it's a dead-end job, whatever. I'm going to keep going, pick myself up and keep going and go towards that brass ring of, is it brass ring or gold ring? The brass ring, it should be gold, shouldn't it? Anyway, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to work through that frustration, raise my own power center, that I'm in this power seat, and I'm going to not have those guys bring me down. I'm going to keep going because I'm going to find that guy who likes my particular form of 6-footness and wants to be in a relationship with me. It takes a lot more work than I expected. But I don't know why there's this cultural fantasy also that it's going to happen by magic. That, to me, is the number one reason why people are single, is because we're all waiting for this magic to happen. And how many years do we wait? I met people in their 70s who are saying to me, well, Catherine, it's just going to happen. I'm like, how's that going to happen? And I saw it in myself. I was just waiting for this magic. But lousy relationships were happening when they happened. But when I went out and decided I'm going to make this happen, I'm going to learn everything I need to learn, get in my power, not become mowed down by frustration, which I know is easy to do, not have ideas like, it's so terrible if they're 5'5" or whatever, and keep going. Look at my own prejudices. So this is really key. It's one of the main things I teach. It's one of the main things we have in our dating class, is that whole ability of flipping the power around, because we've been taught to be powerless in dating. It just happens by magic. If you're a woman, you're just sitting there like fairy princess and the guy just sees you across the room and comes over and meets you. Men in 2019 are too scared to come over and meet you. It's not going to happen. Okay? Especially if they're attracted to you, it's not going to happen. It's no offense on men. Men are so sensitive and beautiful, they don't want to be offensive. We've asked that of them and they're complying, and yet we're still sitting and waiting for them to come up and charge in like, it's a very confusing message. Charge in like there's some sort of Sir Lancelot, and it's like, it's much more of an equal playing field. It's very beautiful. But all of us need to say, I'm not going to be sitting waiting for magic. I'm going to work on myself, figure out what I need to do, and not be so hurt and disappointed and frustrated by this process. I'm going to get in there and make it work for me.